Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
It's Friday! Hallelujah! The Rocky Mountain Showdown is tomorrow. The Commanders come in on Sunday, and we have some Avalanche news to start the show. As many of you remember, there was some drama with Valeri Nichushkin during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we won't go into the details because it's a lot, and people are wanting to move on. But Valeri Nichushkin is back in the building at Family Sports practicing with the team as the Avalanche have rookie camp this week. This is the first time a lot of people have seen Valeri Nichushkin, not on social media, but actually in person.
Yeah, it got to be an interesting vibe and a dynamic over there because obviously he's such a big part and has been for the last few years, such a big part of what's made them tick, and the way that it all melted down in conjunction with the fall off that the team had performance-wise in the postseason. It's got to be interesting for the Nathan McKinnons, the Cale Makars, those guys to welcome him back. And then even with some of the social media antics that we saw during, the absence.
Even just recently.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Actually, I want you guys in the comments to let us know. Are you on the we don't need to worry about what happened with Valeri Nichushkin? He's back at practice. We're ready to go for the season. Or are you still a little upset of like, you know what? You kind of messed around and you did hurt this team in the playoffs. I'm very curious to see people's reactions because I feel like it's kind of split 50-50. I am on the stance of I just don't know. Why are you looking at me?
I was going to ask you the question you're about to answer.
I was going to say, I was like, why are you looking at me like this,
Richie? Stare at your forehead until you...
Do I have a Manning head today? No, totally kidding. But I'm on the stance of if the team, the media never knows the story 100%, right? Like, I feel like there's still so many unknown questions. And I feel like Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, if it was something where it was just like non-forgivable, I feel like they wouldn't forgive him. So I'm on the, if they've forgiven him and they've moved forward and whatever happened behind the scenes happened, then I'll just step back and let it go. I'm on if the captains are going to be like, you know what, everything's okay, I will just move back.
Yeah, I think I lean toward your point of view. If you phrase the question as like, is this something we need to worry about or is it all good? I'm definitely going to stay on the side of this is something that you need to worry about. This isn't just like we'll brush it under the rug, water under the bridge, whatever. This was a big deal.
It was massive.
And it has the potential, the gravity to really deeply impact the tight-knit nature and the bonds in that locker room and the chemistry that they have that was so big for their Stanley Cup run. So I'm not going to say like, don't worry about it, but I tend to agree with you. I think that's logical to say, hey, if the players truly have
moved on, forgiven it, and they're ready to go, I'm not going to be the one that's going to be pounding the gavel saying like they shouldn't have forgiven him so easily and whatever. You're not going to be a Khaleesi?
Yes.
I'm not going to be one either. It's definitely going to be interesting though. He's going to have to face the music from the media sooner or later and answer a lot of questions that I'm sure he's not excited for. My only thing recently, and you kind of brought it up, is like, is this something to worry about? The only reason I'm kind of on I don't think it's going to 100% go away is he went quiet on social media for a long time. And then a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, he popped back up with a social media post of him holding some
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, like weapons next to a car, and everyone is like, "What are we doing here?"
My first thought was that's pretty tone deaf.
What a great way to put it, and it's true. I'm just like, "What are we doing here, Val?" But at the same time, that kind of comes down to management being like, "This is not okay."
I get that. But again, if he's away from the team, if he's overseas, if he's doing that stuff, like, the team management, the staff, they can only do so much. I mean, how can you lock down a guy's Instagram account? Or if his wife posts something that he's featured in.
Yeah, but when you're semi in the doghouse.
Yeah, of course. And that's why there's got to be some accountability on his part, not necessarily the team's of like, listen, when you get a speeding ticket, you probably drive 5 under for a little while. Afterwards, at least on the way home, you don't just rip it right afterwards. So it's the same kind of concept. Like, hey, that it's a little hot.
Yeah.
Your name's a little hot right now. Like, we need to just cool off, maybe put the phone down or whatever. And he did for a little bit, but then it happened
right back
again.
Up. Yep. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket? Yes. Really? How many?
I've gotten a few.
Okay. What's the worst one?
Worst one? I got a speeding ticket on my birthday one time.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I don't know if it's the worst one, but the most memorable one was the night that I was in high school. It was the night that I had my first kiss with my first high school girlfriend, and I was on cloud 9. I was in my stepmom's.
And they gave you a ticket?
Yeah, because what does the cop care? You know what I mean? Even from his perspective.
Oh my God.
I wasn't even in my car. I was in my stepmom's blue Volkswagen Bug. I borrowed her car to take this girl on a date. And I was listening to Stuck Like Glue by Sugarland, which is why to this day, when I hear that song, there's a part of me that's like, I got pulled over. It was like this, and I was freaking out.
Oh my gosh. Cool. Okay. Do you remember how much the ticket was for? Or what was the speed you were going?
I was going like 15 or 17 over. It was a big one.
Yeah,
it was my first offense. They did the whole take a class and knock it down and all that. Although the class that we had to take was like a defensive driving course where we basically just went to like an open parking lot area and did like donuts and swerved, and it was like trying to teach you how to drive defensively. But I walked out of there like this didn't.
You're like, now I feel like Grand Theft Auto. Like, let's ride. Everybody, let's ride. Okay. Going to the comments. I was very disappointed. He was one of my favorite players. He needs to prove himself this year. Agreed. Did the NHL ever step in and investigate? It's a great question, Troy. The NHL did essentially say that they, kind of went over all of the notes and everything and said there's nothing more for us to do here, which makes me believe that like there's more to the story that the media just doesn't have. Because I feel like the NHL is kind of one of those like, we'll put our hammer down if we need to. Yeah, listen, and they deal with players from such an influx of countries that most other professional, like the NFL doesn't deal with that. NBA maybe a little bit, but the NHL, I mean, they've got a broad governing body and they deal with so many different personalities and cultures and things like that I agree with you. I think if there was going to be something that they would do it, but I think just like in business and all those professional leagues are businesses, there's an element to like we as the fans are on a need to know basis about what really happened. And we very rarely get the full picture. True. Well, talking about favorites for this weekend, my goodness, the Buffaloes are heavy favorites against the Rams, as First Take was up this morning in Boulder. First of all, I'm like, why is it when the national media always comes to town, the weather is so gross? Like that happened during the NBA finals. It's kind of disgusting. I'm living for it. I'm like here for the cozy vibes, but I'm sure if you're sitting outside, you're like, why is it 50 degrees outside? Yeah, because of course you're talking about cozy vibes. Like that kind of weather is great when you're sitting inside by the fire, you got a cup of tea or whatever it is. But when you got to be out in it, when you got to play in it, when you got to drive in it, it's like this is depressing. Oh, 100%. And of course, there's the Jay Norval quote up at CSU, and it still just makes me want to smack my head over of like, Coach, why did you have to say this? We'll play the clip and then we'll get to Deion's response to it. And I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So why, oh, why? All right, Deion does respond and goes, I don't like that it happened. This is another brother. It started all right, but it took a quick left. What happened? It threw me off. What happened? If you want to talk, I can do it pretty darn good. If it was a trap game, now my kids are at a 10. We can't wait to get it on. Wow, what a quote coming from Deion Sanders. I've seen this play out from, live in person. And obviously we've seen examples of it over the years. And I just don't remember many times where it works out the way that it's going to need to work out for Jay Norvell to back up what he's said. I'm just like, Coach, why did you have to do, like, you just put a huge target on your back when Colorado right now is America's sweetheart too. And it's now like you are trying to bully the sweetheart. It's not a good look for CSU. Yeah, listen, I'm not here saying that like kills me. The Rams and Jay Norvell need to kiss the ring or like do anything. Like, listen, you're playing them. You got pride and you have stake in this too. But given the magnitude of the situation and how opposite end of the spectrum it appears that both of those teams are, that's just not the way I would have gone about it. Me either. Oh my gosh, it's just driving me crazy. We will get to some more Boulder stuff because obviously there's a ton going on up there. But of course, we got to do our Fantasy 5 with Cecil Lammy as we will bring him in. Cecil, Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good day. How's it going today?
Good, good, good. Are you ready for the Rocky Mountain Showdown?
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be over because
Yeah.
everyone's looking forward to the Oregon game, USC game. Like, yeah, and Norvell, please. I wore sunglasses on the show on the War Room yesterday, all throughout the show, indoors. I've done it before, but I was just like, come on, man, don't give Dion that sort of stuff. They were going to win anyway. Now you might not score against Colorado.
That's the scary thing. And I'll never forget Cecil when it was it the game after they lost to the Seahawks last year? Was that the Broncos game when you came on with your sunglasses on and you were like, I am pissed off about this Denver Broncos team? That was a legendary moment for you.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, maybe the moment was good, but the feeling was terrible. And you want to feel good about the Denver Broncos. You want to feel good about your fantasy team as well.
All right, give me your top tip for this weekend.
Yeah, top tip for this weekend is don't hesitate with the rookies. We don't know who the studs are yet. Okay, I'm a start your studs guy, especially when we get to the fantasy playoffs, but that's week 14. We already know who the studs are. We're not really sure. That's why last week you were let down by the likes of Joe Burrow. You were let down by the likes of Pat Mahomes, like Justin Fields, DJ Moore didn't do as much as you thought. And I'm getting some like, should I really start Anthony Richardson questions? Yes. Yes. Do not be afraid early in the season when a guy has done it like that. And we all knew with Richardson specifically because of his insane rushing ability. Bryce Young's not really a rusher. Stroud can be if we talk about the three rookie quarterbacks, but it's Richardson who's like incredibly raw. They're going to let him run the ball, and a running quarterback. Tim Tebow couldn't throw. He was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Anthony Richardson can throw a little bit better than that, but he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback. And yes, I do have him ranked above the likes of Justin Fields this week.
Okay, so tell me this. It seems like there's some hints that Jerry Jeudy is going to return to the lineup this week for the Denver Broncos. Oh, yeah. You've been out at practice this week. You're feeling confident, I can tell. Would you start him if he's on your fantasy lineup, knowing that he's just coming hot off on an injury?
Yeah, and knowing that he was close last week, like, and talking to Jerry Jeudy a few days ago in the locker room, a couple days ago in the locker room, like, you know, he tested it out before the game. So he might have been able to go if it was, let's say, like a playoff game last week. It wasn't, obviously, as the season opener. This week, he should be able to go, but let's ease it in and let's all pump the brakes on what this offense is going to be. It's going to be a run-heavy offense. Still, everybody, that's the way they're going to want to win. Jerry Jeudy will be the number one, but the number one coming back from injury on a run-heavy offense is like a number 3 for your fantasy team. So he's like a wide receiver 3 flex play this week with Jerry Jeudy. So you can be excited. I don't think he's any sort of savior for anyone's fantasy team out there. But if you have the likes of a Christian Kirk, if you have the likes of a Darnell Mooney, you know, these are guys that I'm still starting just barely over Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is starting over the guys like Kadarius Toney, who you couldn't trust last week, Gabe Davis, who you can't really trust anyway, or guys that are on the come up that you still have hopes for, like a Sky Moore. So there is a line for Jerry Jeudy, but it's more of that wide receiver 3 flex play than it is like wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1.
Okay, so you're looking at the game on Sunday, Commanders versus Broncos. Who's a player you absolutely want to have on your fantasy team between those two teams?
Jahan Dotson, because he's going to go against Damari Mathis, and it's going to be the way it is until it's not. But we know that Sam Howell is a gunslinger. He's going to hold on to the ball a little bit too long. He's going to wait for those deep shots. Jahan Dotson, who learned from KJ Hamler, got to get some love for KJ in there. But like at Penn State, he came up underneath KJ. Jahan Dotson is the truth. Last year, he scored 7 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's going to score 7 in this one game, but it's against Damari Mathis, who's going to get picked on. Terry McLaurin is back. He's fully practicing, so Pat Surtain's likely to take away Terry McLaurin. That means it's Jahan Dotson day, so start him with confidence.
Okay, let's go to KJ real quick. He saw working out with the Colts. Of course, we have the link back to the Broncos. Sean Payton being like, you know, we would love to have him back. Have we seen him for the final time in a Bronco uniform or an NFL uniform?
Probably, definitely Broncos, I would believe, and might be just the whole league. And it's unfortunate, but that's just kind of the way this game is.
Okay. Any other hot tips you got for fantasy owners this week?
Yeah, hot tip for fantasy GMs out there. Again, look to those younger, unknown, like we're watching situations like a Kendrick Bourne, who should have been a hot waiver wire selection for everyone out there with New England. Can Mac Jones really do it? Yeah, I don't believe in Mac Jones, but if that's the way they're doing it and it's with Kendrick Bourne, then go ahead and go for that. Rashid Shaheed, my favorite name in all of football with New Orleans, should be on everyone's team. And I can't go any single show and mention or not mention Zay Flowers. He is the truth. He's the new Antonio Brown. And Baltimore's got him. If Lamar Jackson gets better as a passer, and I believe he can, Zay Flowers will be that truth. You want him, you want to start him every week.
Okay, well, hopefully better on the field than off the field, like Antonio Brown right there. All right, Cecil Lammy, as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us for Cecil's Fantasy 5, presented by Hooters. We will get back to everything that's going on up in Boulder, and my goodness, it is always a party, it feels like, in Boulder. Even when I was in college, everyone was talking about the parties in Boulder and what you were going to do if you were going to go to Pearl Street or whatever. This weekend is just going to be an absolute crazy party. College game day is obviously going to be there tomorrow morning. We have big noon kickoff. First Take was there. Pat McAfee was up there this morning, obviously. Everything's just revolving around Boulder. And as a CSU Ram, I'm like, oh, man, here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe The Rock will shock the world.
Are you sick of me bringing up the fact that I'm a CSU Ram and this is a hard weekend for me?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Not at all, because you're living through it. There's a lot of Rams out there that are probably living through it with you. So you got to ride or die by your school. But who knows? Like I said, maybe The Rock will shock the college football world and he'll pick CSU.
Okay. Wouldn't that be a dream? Real quick, since I missed this comment while Cecil was on here, Russ or Burrow this week? I picked wrong last week. Help him out.
You take Joe Burrow 10 weeks out of 10. I love Russ, and Joe Burrow's my fantasy quarterback, so I'll admit some bias there. But I don't see a situation where if I have Joe Burrow on my team that I'm ever going to try to get cute and pick a matchup there. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay,
and he did struggle last year in week 1, and look at where they ended up, right? Like,
look at all the quarterbacks that struggled. Joe Burrow played terrible. Lamar Jackson wasn't very good. Yeah. Josh Allen was horrific.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you had top tier NFL quarterbacks that just kind of stunk it up. It was a overall kind of a crummy week 1.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Of football in general. I mean, the Dolphins Chargers game was kind of exciting.
Tua, riding high on Tua. Okay, let's get to our picks this weekend. You ready for this?
Ready.
We both picked the Eagles yesterday. We got that one correct. Green Bay or Atlanta? Who are you going with?
I was so ready to hate on Green Bay with Jordan Love, but he looked good. I'm going to pick them.
I'm going also Jordan Love and Green Bay. Buffalo or Vegas?
Buffalo bounces back. Josh Allen
and
bounces
they're home.
Back. Yeah.
I feel like, granted, I don't know what's going on with Josh Allen. Like, he just does not. He looks scared.
I don't know. It seems like there might be something going on mentally with him. I think offensively they're a little bit of a mess. They may have a little bit of a locker room problem, you know, with the voices in the locker room and all that. But they've been a part of some weird games over the last few years. Yeah. And that was one of them.
Okay. Cincy, Ravens. You're saying take Burrow.
AFC North games are always weird, and this game is going to be no exception. I would not have been shocked. I was not shocked that the Browns beat the Bengals and all that, because the Browns just have the Bengals number recently. But I think Burrow bounces back. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Detroit, Seattle.
Detroit.
I was going to say, that's not even a question. 100% Detroit. I think that Detroit's a playoff team, no matter what, to be completely honest. In mind,
sons of guns.
Yeah. Okay. Indy or Houston?
Oof. Give me Houston.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, I just feel it. I feel like they are going to have a couple of games this year where they just click, and I think Indy's a beatable team.
Well, you're the 31% that's rolling with Houston. I'm taking Indy. Kansas City Chiefs or Jacksonville. I actually love this matchup.
Sneaky good game.
Love this
Sneaky
matchup.
Good game. Zero chance in hell the Chiefs start 0-2.
Yep.
Give me Kansas City.
That's where I was going too. I love the matchup.
This could be like a 34-35 point game on each side.
I wish this was like Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a great game. Chicago or Tampa Bay?
They looked okay with Baker, and Chicago looked kind of rough.
I just don't think Justin Fields is the guy.
I'm invested in him too. Give me Chicago. Give me Chicago for the upset. Just because they look good with Baker in week 1 doesn't mean that they're not beatable. I think Tampa Bay's beatable.
Well, you're the 19% though going with Chicago. You never know though.
I keep
upsets
receipts.
happen. Chargers or Titans?
Oh, Chargers. Yeah. I'm not super high on Tennessee
Ever
overall.
since they got rid of Derrick Henry, you're like, well, what do you have going on over there?
Right.
Yeah.
Did they get rid of Derrick Henry?
Oh, yeah. You don't remember that was like a whole giant thing this offseason. I don't remember where he landed, but yeah, Derrick Henry's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Google it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Why are you looking at me like you
I
can't believe
guess
it?
I wasn't thinking that.
You missed that.
Yeah.
Giants or Arizona?
The Giants.
Okay.
They'll bounce back. Arizona's a dumpster fire.
Yep, agreed. San Francisco or the Rams? Easy one.
San Fran.
49ers, 100%. Dallas or the Jets? Poor Zach Wilson.
If Dallas loses.
Poor Zach Wilson up there. I feel for them. Nathaniel Hackett, I'm sorry, my dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Denver or Washington?
I think it's Denver.
I'm going with Denver, too. I think it's actually going to be a much closer game. If the offense can score more than 16 points, I will be thrilled. We'll see, though. Are you checking me? Are you double checking me over here?
I think so.
Yeah, no, Derrick Henry's gone. Richie's over here like having a panic attack.
No, he's with the Titans.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know. That's what
There was a whole bunch of drama. I'm sure everyone in the comments is probably like, what?
Dalvin Cook leaving the Vikings or DeAndre Swift. I'm trying to think of
No.
other D-named running backs.
Shut the hell up.
I'm not gonna be one to call you out, but that one I was like,
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
There was a whole it was
DeAndre
like
Hopkins came to the
No.
Titans.
there was a whole drama with Derrick Henry. Dude, am I dreaming?
I think you're dreaming.
No, but seriously, like,
Yeah, I mean they had contract disputes and stuff before,
Am I-
and all that, but
wait, this is really freaky, you guys. Like, I'm dead serious. Like,
I had to do it because I was
I'm
not gonna
happy
let
you
us sign
did.
off with that.
no, I'm so happy. I'm literally like, was I dreaming?
Yeah, I think you might have been dreaming.
That is
I was like,
weird.
I play way too much fantasy football and do way too much sports betting
Why
to
would
be wrong about that.
I don't know who I'm thinking of then. Somebody.
It'll come to you.
I know it's the second we sign off with the show. Wow. You guys, that's spooky. I was dead set that Derrick Henry is gone.
I'm a pretty confident guy, but you were so confident.
No,
in it
I
that I
was.
was like, I'm gonna pull out
I'm
my
happy
phone and
you
Google
looked it
this
up.
right now.
I'm trying to figure out who the hell I was thinking of. You guys, that's really spooky because I was like dead set on that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll move on now. Apparently, now that I made myself look like an idiot.
Right.
The Browns or Pittsburgh?
God,
That's-
Pittsburgh looked horrible.
They did.
Um,
Can you really trust Deshaun Watson?
you can, but I'm not going to. I was high on Pittsburgh. I thought I was high on Pittsburgh before the start of the season. I thought that they had wild card sneaky
Yeah.
potential in the AFC. Give me Pittsburgh.
I'm trying to figure out who the hell I'm thinking of. Okay, or let's go Sunday night. Miami or New England?
Dolphins.
Tua.
I don't know how you picked the Dolphins. How you could not pick Tua.
Tua. You guys, I'm really trying to think. Tell me
Somebody-
who are some other running backs that moved around a lot this offseason because I'm desperately trying to think. I for sure thought it was Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no, because he stayed. Saquon
God, why am I?
stayed. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like
I don't know.
Kareem Hunt,
Yeah,
DeAndre Swift.
who am I thinking of?
Dalvin Cook. That's
Yeah,
who I
that's-
thought you would have been thinking of because the D.
No,
I don't know, Rach.
me either.
No.
It's a Friday. It's like day. I don't even know how I'm working.
She's a Ram. We'll give her a little
It's day
grace.
14 straight. Yeah, maybe I'm just completely on my
Oh
my
my
head is in Boulder.
God.
That's so funny though.
Zeke Elliott.
No, gosh, I just don't know. Okay, we're just gonna completely move on. I'm just who the hell knows?
It's okay.
Let's go back to the
The
Rocky
king is
Mountain
still in his
Showdown.
castle.
Let's go back to the showdown. Are you going with the heavy favorites? I know you're going with Boulder. I'm also going with the Buffs, but it's like a 25-point like spread. Are you taking it?
Good teams win, great teams cover, and this weekend CU is going to be great. They're going to cover.
What do you think the score line is? Oh, I'm nervous.
Give me CU 40-14.
Yeah. Somebody said Taylor maybe Jonathan Taylor from the Colts.
Yeah, which he hasn't gone anywhere yet.
No,
but
yeah.
that's all the
But,
drama.
that's still not who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
God damn, I don't know why. Who am I thinking? I'm so caught up on this, you guys. I really can't. Like, who was I
I'm going to be
thinking of?
fascinated to find out who
Rachel
it
was hoping Henry was a Ram for a day. My goodness, I would bring it on. Actually,
That's a good point.
it is a funny one. There's a running back for Brian Dawkins' nephew, Dalen Dawkins,
Okay.
was a CSU Ram, in case nobody knew that.
Wow.
Yes, he was fantastic when he played up there. I think he's the leading rusher for CSU for a long time.
Wow.
He is planning to put out a video today about Jay Norval's quote, essentially, and his thoughts on it. And I'm actually really excited to see what that is
Count me in.
because I think a lot of people are looking at coach up there at CSU and just being like, what were we thinking here, man? And I think when your community has those types of thoughts, there's some serious question marks.
Yeah. Now listen, if they win, obviously, if David slays Goliath and all that, whatever. But I'll give him this. If they lose like a 1-score game, if this is like
it's the same thing we're talking about with TCU and
game
CU.
or something like that, if I'm CSU, a 1-score loss to me is like, hey, we backed it up. If that happens, I'll go back and be like, all right, Jay, like you talked the talk, and that's enough walk for me to give it to you.
No, 100%. It's exactly what we talked about with CU and TCU, right? We were like, oh, if they stay within 10 points, that should be a win for the program. Now, of course, CU goes on, and then all this madness happens up in Boulder. I just don't think that, first of all, I don't think the defense up for CSU can stop Shedeur Sanders. I think he is too mobile of a quarterback. On First Take this morning, they're saying, who is Shedeur more compatible with, like his play? Mahomes, Burrow, or Allen?
See, I hate when we do this, by the way.
But being named next to those three is incredible after 2 games at this level.
Like, I agree. Yeah, to be named in that company, and sometimes I feel like there's a temptation from the media and from the fan base to make parallels like that. But I will admit that I get a little cringy when I see like somebody in college, and they're breaking down his profile, and they're like, he has Mahomes-esque pocket presence, and it's like, well, let's just hold on a second. Like, he's the greatest of all time. Probably. Mahomes will probably finish in the conversation as one of the greatest of all time.
How many more Super Bowls does he need to beat out Brady?
You gotta match the number at least. To beat out Brady, you gotta match that number, or the rest of your resume has to be insane. There's not a human being alive, in my opinion, right now on earth that has a chance to match or beat Tom Brady's accomplishments except for Patrick Mahomes. There's not like a 2-year-old baby right now that's going to grow up to be the future, whatever. That record is going to stand for a long time as a quarterback to win 7 Super Bowls with 2 different teams.
And I think Josh Allen, I don't think he's ever going to do it.
The Bills,
I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
The Bills look like they had a hot window that was right there, and it feels like they may have missed it. And so we'll see.
Nope. Okay, going back, though, to Boulder. Who do you think has more? Do you think we see more running, or do you think Shedeur absolutely goes off against CSU?
I think that they're going to air it out. Doesn't mean I don't think like Dylan Edwards is not going to be involved. And I think that they haven't been incredibly balanced through the first 2 weeks. They haven't had a huge commitment to the run game. I do think that if you're trying to, like, traditionally speaking, if you're trying to wear down an opponent and just pound it down their throat, that the running game is the way to do it. But what these guys have been doing is working. So, like, could I see Dylan Edwards having a big game and getting involved? Yeah, but I fully expect their emphasis to be airing it out like they have been, tossing it all over the yard.
Are you super excited for game day?
I'm really excited. Okay. I love game day.
You need to tell me, what are you looking forward to the most? Richie will be behind the scenes tomorrow at game day. What's the one thing you're hoping to accomplish while you're there?
I want to ask The Rock a question. That's the
He's
one.
He's so cool.
Yes. First of all, I want to stand next to him, because I would be like, oh, this is what it would be like to stand next to a Greek god. Like, that is, if I ever met Zeus, this is what it would be like. Okay. So I wanted to, and I want to get his answer on how many, because I actually asked this around the office, and I feel like I got some wild answers. How, in the wild, in real life, how many rams would it take to down a buffalo? A wild buffalo versus wild. I feel
just
like
one buffalo.
One buffalo. How many rams would it take? And I think people are selling rams a little bit short, full disclosure. Because
I'm going 3.
I think maybe I'm totally off base, but that number was weird. I mean, we had people around the office who were like, oh, it would take like a pack of 20. I'm like, rams are not, like, we're not talking about.
Are we talking about this?
Well,
if this hits you, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, we're not talking about baby goats. You know what I mean? Like, these are beasts. These are, you know what I mean? Like, they bang around in the mountains.
Okay, like 3. Because if they just hit and they take out the legs, it's over. Now, the buffalo's not going to be able to get back up.
I'm not surprised that the majority of the people that gave me like some ludicrous answers
are Buffs fans.
No, they're just men. They're just boys. Because you see that survey that goes around every year. I feel like that is like they survey like a bunch of men about like what is the strongest or the biggest animal that you think you could beat in a fight without a weapon. And like there are males walking around this earth that think that they could beat a lion in a fight. Or like a silverback gorilla. You know what I mean? So like there's a level of delusion factored in, but I think 20 is not giving Rams enough credit.
Yeah, like 3, to be completely honest with you. I thought that one through.
Yeah, we need a simulation or something.
Yeah.
There's got to be some technology.
Who the hell thinks that they can beat a gorilla? Okay, on that note, anyways, I'm going to go try and figure out which running back I was thinking of that's no longer with their team. That was an absolute domination.
We may have to sign back on whenever you find that out.
I'll definitely tweet it out because I could have sworn it was Derrick Henry, and now I'm just like, okay, but it's a Friday. Rocky Mountain Showdown tomorrow. Commanders versus Broncos on Sunday. Lots of good stuff. Richie and I will be at both games. Make sure you follow us over there on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays. Have a wonderful Friday, everybody. Get back to work or don't work at all today. We'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.